let me close Thunderbird before I forget. There we go. Alright. And let me get the Discord up because I know what you people are like. Where is Discord? That one. Wonderful. Right, hello. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How has your week been? What has everybody been up to? Hello to Jim and hello to John. How you guys doing? How's your week been? We are indeed there yet. Whistles. Yeah. How is everybody? I have been busy. Very busy, actually. I got, in fact, well, a few people are here. Hello, Jim. Hello, Sam. How you guys doing? I got me some response time tools, and they work. Isn't that amazing? The circuitry, very fancy. I know. 6 photodiodes this time. I have a video about this coming tomorrow. This is the new OSRTT Pro CS, as you can see, chip shortage. Yeah, they're done. They're ready. They are in units. They're a bit wider. I don't have one of the old ones. They're a touch wider and a touch shorter than the old one. Yeah, I do quite like that the photo, like the hole that's in the bottom of the case is actually smaller in area than the old one, because these are just in a row, whereas the old one was like two, and then one sideways up here. In fact, actually, I have one of the old ones. Like size comparison, 5 takes up less space, more space than 6. Who knew if you package them well? But yeah, they're done, they're ready. And they will be going live either for pre-order or just outright order tomorrow. Looks very professional, pun intended. Well, and thank you. So yeah, I've been building those, testing and validating them, making a video about them. I've also been testing an absolutely phenomenal value monitor. It's 4K 160Hz on IPS, and when those monitors first started existing, those were like £2,000. This monitor is £400 for a 4K 160Hz IPS monitor, and this isn't like some cheap shit one. This is a good one. Like, this has 450 nits of peak brightness, and legitimately, like, no ghosting. That's incredible. So that video about on Monday. Also in car news, I got the invite to the yearly Society of Motoring Manufacturers and Traders test day at Millbrook in end of May. So I will be going to that, and I will do at least one video. Because it's always interesting to try a bunch of cars, see how they are. So yeah, what has everybody been up to this week? Anything interesting? Anything tech related? I don't think there's been that much tech news this week. Besides, like, Musk suing OpenAI. And then OpenAI, like, publishing their emails. So yeah. I don't think so. Although, I do have the memory of a sieve for those sorts of things, so if I've forgotten something significant, feel free to let me know. The other rather unconventional thing that I've been doing this week is writing a scientific / research paper. about response time methodologies. Been quite cool. Interesting challenge. Is it worth to upgrade from a 3080 10 gig to a 3080 Ti for €100 difference for 4K 60 FPS AAA games? The 3080 Ti, I don't remember. How much VRAM did that have? Is the question. 3080 Ti only had 12 gig of VRAM. What the fuck? Jesus, Nvidia, you skimpers. If you're playing at 4K and you specified new AAA games, probably. The higher end the graphics card you have, the better. €100 difference isn't an insane difference, and even that extra 2 GB of VRAM is a useful addition to have. So I think yes, I think it's worth it. I think that would be a reasonable choice. GTX is no more, as in support for? Because you'll have to fill me in because I didn't see that story. Just finished my chicken soap. I'm now here. I assume... Oh, GTX branding is just dead. Right, okay. Kind of knew that one. Nvidia will not make another GTX product. Fair. I'm not that surprised. Anyway, I assume you meant soup. Hello, Simon. Hello, Essentialist. How you guys do? How's things? Just started my chicken carbonara. Nice. Soup. Got it. Good. Yeah, I mean, the last time we had a GTX product was the 1650, 1660, 1660 Ti, 1660 Super. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago now. So yeah. Also correct on iPhone. Interesting that it would autocorrect that. I don't know how that would autocorrect. Who knows? Headache from superglue fumes and lack of caffeine. You. I use that for the latency tools to glue the like, lenses in. But yeah. What? No more GC710s? I hope not. Wasn't the 710 replaced by the 1030 anyway? With the 4000 series, not GTXs. No, as Jim says, there were RTX. Nvidia hasn't released a GTX card, as in one without ray tracing units and tensor cores, since the 16 series. Which they really only named that just to screw over all the people who are saying the next generation would be the 11 series, because that would make sense. And then they decided not only no, the RTX starts at 2000 now because reasons, but also that the next GTX cards still wouldn't be 11, they'd be 16, because that makes sense. 1660 Ti was the last, no? Did they not do a 1660 Super? Was that before or after? Because Nvidia have flip-flopped between Super and Ti. But I thought Super was the mid-generation refresh. That could be... I could be wrong. By the way, if you don't like spending a fortune on worth stuff, Gorilla makes some great stuff. I bought that bottle on eBay for £5 at most. because I needed a larger bottle of reasonable quality super glue, and that was what was available at a decent price. So yeah, I have used. But let me hold it up to the light. I've used this much so far. It was at most about this much. That's how much I've used. I think I'm good. Actually, I used that. My GH5, the power switch is a sort of tab that hangs off the side of the like mode selector dial, and it broke off. Wonderful. And so I used that to superglue it back on, which also superglued it in place. And so I dismantled my entire camera to put it back together. I did buy a replacement part, which is sitting back there. However, the superglued part is working fine, so I'm just gonna keep using it like that until it breaks, and then I have the replacement part for £45. And a tiny little bit of plastic. So yeah, that's what I'm using. Superglued stuff either works for 5 minutes or 50 years. Well, it's lasted longer than 5 minutes, so I'm hopeful. I did actually do it as best as I could. I left it to dry before I put it back together, all this sort of stuff, so it should be good. Hello to Lesto. GT7, 10 or 730 are still available down under, great for testing problems on no video output with F-series chips and AMD CPUs. Fair. I don't know. I don't build enough systems to have those sorts of issues. I always have a graphics card in there anyway. So, but fair, yeah. 40 bleeding 5 sodden squiddly doos, indeed, from China as well. Oh, please go away. I used Loctite super glue. It's really good, like a gel. Fair. Like I said, bought that one on eBay for £5. I've been using the brand name Loctite stuff for a while. It's great but expensive. For like, if I was rebuilding an engine that I cared about, because I have rebuilt an engine that I didn't care about, I would use Loctite brand, thread locker, thread sealer, etc. But yeah. For my mountain bike, I have a bottle of red. The bottle is red, but the thread locker is blue. Blue thread locker liquid. Thread locker is cheap. Loctite 406 instant adhesive is very expensive. I have seen a variety of Loctite products, including things like gasket sealants and stuff. I don't know if you're interested in cars. I sincerely hope you have found M539 Restorations. He is oh god, I want to say a Croatian guy who moved to California and then moved back to Germany and lives somewhere near Frankfurt and restores BMWs with just the most like beautiful anal precision. And like dedication to using genuine parts and to doing it as the factory service manual requires, which is much better than I ever do. So yeah, I highly recommend his videos, and his most recent one, or maybe not the most recent because that was driving his E92 M3, the one that the one where he was rebuilding the engine. Oh no, the one that he was rebuilding the V12 for the 850i, or whatever it was, 750. One of them. he uses a Loctite product to adhere the gasket and seal the gasket where it would otherwise leak. Jesus, I can waffle. And 531 is great. Yes. Anal precision. Anal in the detailed way rather than the posterior way. That reminds me, must get some Loctite 243 on the way to the shop. I ran out yesterday. I can't say that I know what the Loctite number codes mean. For much more super glue, it's like water, great for gluing RC tires onto the rims. Fair. I can see the benefit in having both available. This one is white. Actually, it's decently viscous now that I think about it, which does mean that it gets everywhere, which is good and bad. Actually, speaking of tires, I had one hell of a week to what you call it in my friend Dan bought a secondhand Caliber Boss Nut mountain bike. It's a full suspension bike, very cool bike, very good. However, the front tire was like dry rotted and just dreadful. This bike has clearly been very abused by the 10-year-old that owned it before, and yeah, it was in desperate need of replacing. It was tubeless though, and we spent a good hour fighting to get this tire off, including using this reciprocating saw and tin snips to cut a hole in the tire in the hopes that we could pry it from the inside, which didn't work. Yeah, that was 3 hours. If I buy a cheap CPU fan cooler, can I control the speed with ASUS AI Suite 3? I seem to remember that ASUS AI Suite was I'm sure Essentialist will give us a very curt summary of that in but a moment, but not very good. Not a very good program to have installed. But as a generalization, if it's a 4-pin fan header, so that is normally PWM, voltage, signal, and ground, or some combination of that, then your motherboard is able to control that fan speed, and so yes. Sometimes you might have to do that in the BIOS, I guess. If Suite 3 has that facility, then sure. I think there are also some programs that would allow you to do that that aren't from your motherboard manufacturer. I want to say SpeedFan might be able to do that as well, but it's been a very long time since I have worried about fan speeds. But yeah, as long as it's a 4-pin PWM fan header, rather than a 3-pin, yes, you can control that pretty easily. There's a setting in ASUS BIOS to force the installation of that Armory crate or something similar. Yes, and that's a really big security vulnerability. I think you can turn that off, but yeah, that's bad. Really bad. Really bad. Hello Chris, how you doing, man? How's things? Give me a BIOS that's grey and blue any day. No, but yes. Loctite Super 2 medium strength can remove with hand tools. 243 works on non-clean oily parts. 222 light, strong. 223 oily. Fair. I cannot say that this will help me commit them to memory, but interesting. Armory crate install can be turned off the BIOS. Good. Thomas, hello. How you doing? How's things? Yeah, AMI comes in all 2 colors, as long as it's blue and grey. I hate a BIOS that forces me to use a mouse. I don't know that any BIOS forces me to use a mouse, in my experience anyway. Some of them are definitely clearly more designed for that, but they all generally have the settings available, although it's been a while since I've used a variety of motherboards. So yeah. Do you mean MSI, Chris? Because I seem to remember that MSI do have the big bar at the top where you can enable like XMP with a click, rather than going through the menu options. MSI have a drag to order boot device thing. That's right. See, I kind of like that though. Kind of like that. Yeah. So the boot order I like. The generally using a mouse in the BIOS sucks. Like the sensitivity's wrong. It's just a bad experience. So yeah, I do use keyboard and mouse, keyboard, as exclusively as I can. But yeah. Quick question: triples or ultra wide for sim racing? Good question. Why not a super ultra wide? Legitimately, that's probably the most immersive option, save for VR, which I do have. The Valve Index, it's great. But yeah, that's probably a super ultra wide is probably your best bet. I think that triple displays, as much as it will technically give you more real estate, even if you got curved ones, the fact that there's bezels generally just takes the immersion out for me. It's been a very long time since I've done multi-monitor gaming as well. I did Infinity with 5 4x3 displays, if I remember rightly, years ago with 2 different graphics cards. Back when anybody let you do that. But maybe it's 4. Anyway, but yeah, it wasn't the best experience. You can remove the bezel with the SU strip that hides it. You can realistically, the most like immersive experience really is VR. If that's your sort of true vision for it, that is kind of the best. If you're gonna go with a single monitor, I think the a super ultra wide, a 42 by 9, 32 by 9, would be great. In fact, I just reviewed a Philips 32 by 9 monitor that was pretty nice. QD OLED monitor, 240 hertz, very good. Triple displays will have potentially more sort of surface area. Yes, 42 by 9 curved. It was the Evnia 8900, the 42-inch one. No, 45-inch. The model name really sucks. Where is it? Oh, I didn't even put the model name in the... Oh no, I did. 49M2C8900. Yeah, 49-inch QD OLED, and it looks great. It was a very immersive experience. My conclusion was, for most use cases, the Evnia 8600 that I used, the 34-inch standard ultra-wide, was better, and that's what I'm looking at right now. But this is... the 42x9 would be better in your specific scenario. Which has really been a long time since I've looked at multi-monitor gaming. It really has. 2 graphics cards in Crossfire. Indeed, I had HD 6870s in Crossfire. Didn't do a damn thing. Presumably 95% of people don't even touch the BIOS. Then they're 4.5% gamers than us. Yeah, I would think that 99.9% of people don't touch the BIOS of a computer, and it is only us ultra nerds that do. So yeah. Yeah, no. I have a Quest 2 and I've ever tried racing games with it on my PC. You are missing out. It's a great experience. It's incredibly immersive. Being able to sit down, I stick my wheel here, you know, headset on, and be able to be looking around to like physically look into corners rather than just like looking at the corner of your screen. Yeah, it's really cool. And especially with a single seater, like an open single seater, like an F1 car. Really cool. I just wish I had a better setup and wheel and whatnot. I wanted to Crossfire 2 R9 390s, but I didn't want the Rosers thinking I was growing weed with the amount of power usage. Yeah. God, those were bad. I use a 1080p short throw projector for sim racing. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like racing games in VR, getting my Nürburgring practice. Yep. I remember Crossfire and SLI. Yes, SLI. Technically, SLI was more common, although well, it was more common because the cards were more popular. But yeah, a lot of people did think that, like, you know, 2 GTX 460s should give you like 480 levels of performance for less money. Didn't. I crossfired something like a 7970 and a 290 together. They used like the same chips or near enough, worked fine. Fair. I know that AMD has always, or I suppose, was it ATI still? AMD/ATI was very much more open in their practices in things like SLI. In fact, one of the earliest videos that we did on the channel was how to enable PhysX, which is NVIDIA's like cloth and whatever simulation engine with an AMD GPU. The short answer was buy yourself an NVIDIA GPU and then install both drivers simultaneously, which I think, this is over a decade ago now, required some sort of minor hacking to make work, because they didn't like being installed at the same time back then. And then you could set the NVIDIA card, which could be like, you know, a GT 1030 type. This was earlier than the 1030, like real crap. Card, while you had a decent AMD card as your actual like rendering card. God, that was bad. Yeah, how to run hybrid PhysX AMD and NVIDIA 11 years ago. Yeah, that was terrible, utterly terrible. Hello, John. Hey, Demantis things. I was blind, drunk, DJing in nightclubs in the SLI times. Fair play, man. Fair play. Did you miss any good dad jokes? I don't know. I don't think so, actually. Maybe one or two. The first garbage card I bought was a used GTX 690 with an Arctic Accelero fitted. Amazing for all the 3 games that SLI used. Yeah, I remember the 690. That was a weird card. That was weird even when it came out. I can't. Did AMD do multi GPU cards first? Well, okay. Technically speaking, even like the Voodoo days, there were multi GPU cards, so it wasn't a new idea. But I remember the 5970 or something was a Joe GPU. 5990. God, this is over a decade old, and I was like 15 at the time. I still want an R9 295X2. Oh, that was a terrible card. 3DFX did it first, yeah. Yeah. That was my week. Busy. I've been writing a scientific / research paper on response times to publish at some point. And I have finally got my new open source response time tool Pro CS models in, and they're ready to go. And as a finished little box, USB-C, and photos. Yeah, the 295X2 was the Joe chip card that had a like Crossfire chip or whatever on it. Yeah. Oh, smart Scottish fella writing papers. Wasn't sure that's allowed. I mean, it's stuff that I've written before, just in a like fancier format. I wrote the paper over 2 days, so Tuesday and today in the evening, and then I'm using LaTeX to format it today and tomorrow. So yeah. Stropple, how many people caved to Helldivers 2? I haven't yet, because I have been writing scientific papers. As you do. But yeah, I have watched a few videos. It does look quite cool. If I had friends that played it, I'd be more inclined. The first GPU I bought was an upgraded Builter chip from my Amiga, so I could access more RAM. Nice. That's cool. Very cool. Maybe a doctorate in something tech related. Are you sticking to pharmaceuticals? No, it's about response time testing methodologies, discussing the current industry standard VESA method, VESA standards, which is now part of the IDMS2. I can't even remember what that stands for, and I wrote the paper last night. Let me look it up. The Informational Display Measurement Standard from the International Committee for Display Meteorology is the current one, versus primarily gamma correction, which is the process of, instead of just using the light level and then taking 10% and 90% of the light level as the tolerance, you take the RGB values that relates to, and then if you still want to use 10 to 90%, which I think is quite loose, you use 10% of the light level difference. So if you're going from RGB 0 to RGB 255, instead of just using 10% and 90% of the light level change, you use what equates to RGB 25 on the top and RGB 230 on the bottom and the top, which gives you a more accurate to perceive result rather than just 10% of what the oscilloscope shows. So yeah, I'm planning on redoing osrtt.com, but so at least the landing page is more like talks about the project rather than it just being a landing page that takes you straight to buying the thing. Yeah. That is the intention. I might also ask SID, or the people who do the information. God, forgotten already. The Information Display Measurement Standard and the International Committee for Display Meteorology, if they want to publish it in their journal. We'll see. Probably not, but we'll see. List it on ResearchGate while I'm at it. Papers give me cold shivers. I'm not a write it down, read it kind of person. I'm forced to be. So yeah. Andy, all you need is PUBG. No. Yeah. The only game that I've played recently is 5M and the Mega Games EU server, which is just GTA 5, but sort of modded GTA 5 online. It's really quite cool, and it's a lot of fun. The Mega Game server has a bunch of different game modes and races and stuff, both face-to-face, which is where it's a sort of difficult track where you go back and forward, changing vehicles as you get to either end, and then it gets a bit complicated when there just isn't enough space and someone is coming with a like lorry and you're in a RC car. So yeah, quite fun. The stream gets serious when Andy starts stripping. It's only because I'm sat right next to a radiator and I left my smart heating temperature set point a degree lower because it's been a bit warmer in the house today. And I have only just turned it back up, which was I probably should have turned it up in an hour rather than at the start of the stream. I should have done it at the end of the stream because I always get warm when I'm on camera. Something about the energy that can I need to impart to be on camera. I'm gonna learn proper DMX, so I'm booking in into an in-person course with Shamsis so they can show me how it's done. Nice, enjoy. I want a Quest 2, but is it worth the money? Does an all 2 hour fast? Simon, you said you had a Quest 2, right? Or Simon S63 anyway. Can you answer that question? I can answer that question a bit more generally with VR as a topic. Okay, my answer is slightly tainted by the fact that I am disabled. I cannot stand for long periods of time, and VR's kind of whole main thing is standing. So, pinch of salt. However, for the right game, so in my case, I really like playing Pavlov, which is basically CSGO or CS2, but in VR. A lot of people can't stand that because it requires you to move in-game, like walk around in-game, which a lot of people's inner ear just cannot handle. Mine can. I don't get motion sick from anything, which I'm very glad about. And so I can be walking around in VR and have no problems with that. However, a lot of people can't, which is unfortunate. But also Beat Saber is the other game that I play primarily. I do really like Boneworks. I haven't played Bone Lab, the newer one, yet, but from what I have played of Boneworks, which actually I haven't finished it yet because standing, that is really fun. Although I also don't use it all that often. Part of that's because I have ADHD, part of that's because I'm disabled, and part of it is just because it does take a decent amount of like activation energy to willingly get up from the chair and stand and, you know, wave my arms about a lot to play games. And so yeah, sort of. GTA face to face can end friendships. Yeah, I can. The only sickness Andy doesn't have. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't get motion sickness or anything, just don't use it much. Fair. Well, there you go, Mateo. I think that's a reasonable answer to your question. Oh yeah, there you go. As a note from the video on Monday about the White Fox eclipse, I the marketing people from Apos who sent me the keyboard. At the end of the video, I noted that it took them a good 2 weeks for them to ship the board, and then another week for it to ship from Hong Kong to me. And I wanted to let prospective buyers know that if you are going to buy that, that might be your end user experience. They wanted to note that apparently there were a lot of things that slowed that process, including like extra quality checks, which is a bit of an interesting note. On the one hand, it's very good that they did extra quality checks, because obviously if it's going to a reviewer, they're more likely to be talking about any quality issues. However, it's also technically sort of saying you're giving them a preferential treatment, so I don't know how I feel about that. And something about that they were arranging other reviewers to receive it too, so yeah. But yeah, they assured me that that's not the normal delay. Is the Quest 3 worth it over the Quest 2? Well, I can't answer that one because I went to an Oculus event for, was it the Quest 1? Or no, it wasn't even the Quest, I think it was the Rift S. This was years ago. I met Jonathan Ross, weirdly. But yeah, so I don't think I've ever used a Quest headset. But yeah. Essentialist seems to think so. Jonathan Was. Yes. And Simon says, I wanted to dip into VR, but I didn't want to spend £500, which is pretty reasonable. Admittedly, my Index I bought secondhand from the former MSI notebook marketing lady. Very nice, Natalie, wonderful person. But yeah, so I bought it secondhand. I think it was like 600, rather than the thousand new. And I had already had VR because I guess you know, my brother-in-law had bought a HTC Vive and had then not really had the space to use it, so he gave it to me for Christmas. I used it for a while, and so I'd had some experience with VR already, and so the £600 wasn't just a dip in; it was a significant upgrade. So yeah, you can get Windows mixed reality headsets for not much if you just want to dip your toes in. Assuming Mateo has a decent gaming PC to what you call it, run games with, because obviously the Quest line, the whole thing about the Quest line is that they can run games natively on the headset. Ow. I've had a kind of trapped nerve in my left hip all week, and ow, no, it's still here. You can't tell. I want to try Vision Pro, but it's not in the UK yet. I want to try one. I want to have a look. I want to stick it on my face and see what it's like. I would not put any money anywhere near it. One, because it's an Apple device and I don't put any money near any of those. But two, because I really don't understand what it's for. Because from all of the reports, it's not a very good headset. You know, it's not something that you should be wearing outside of the house, because A, it'll just get stolen, and then B, you know, it's just terrible. And so it's really a like stationary product, and then like it's not for gaming. The primary use of VR, it's for like what, watching immersive movies. Okay, I guess, but you're gonna do that alone unless your partner has £3,000 to spend on another headset, and I don't think you can sync them up. Like, I don't know. It's just. I have a good PC, but being tethered to a cord seems like it would take away from the experience. Realistically, like, so I have a Valve Index, which is very much tethered with a cord. However, it is not something I notice, especially because the vast majority of setups are mostly standing still, rather than the sort of original pitch of VR, which was that you need like an entire room this size to walk around in. Realistically, most of the VR experiences converged into standing still and like doing stuff, shooting stuff, you know, painting, drawing, whatever, rather than that movement. And when you're essentially standing still, it really doesn't matter where you like that you've got a cord hanging off the headset. So yeah, in my experience, it really doesn't matter. You really don't feel it. What's it like with VR if you wear glasses? So I just take my glasses off. I'm, I guess, fortunate in the sense that my eyesight isn't all that bad. I benefit from wearing glasses, but I can play games without them. I can drive without them. When I rode my motorcycle, I didn't wear my glasses. I didn't need to. You know, I got a license to ride a motorcycle while not wearing my glasses. So yeah, it's not a big deal for me personally, but most headsets either come with or have optional face pads where they have essentially cutouts for the lenses and for the glasses. That's, like I said, it's not something that I have experience with, but it is. They are reasonably accommodating, as long as your glasses aren't massive. I had a mate with glasses try my Index. He took off the headset and the glasses stayed inside the headset. Do you know what? I've seen that before, yeah. At least they're secure. They're not just like wobbling around in there. So, the Vision Pro is just beta testing the next product. Yeah, yeah. I'm not buying one. Good. I don't have the dollars for VR. However, can't you just get a longer cable and suspend it with a hook over the ceiling? Yes. Yeah, you can. You certainly can. Um, Even if you do have issues with tangling, there's an app to basically show you which way to turn. Nice. I don't need glasses, can't see shit at the speeds I'm riding anyway. Do you know what? Yeah, same. Who needs mirrors when you're the fastest fucker on the road? Screaming intensifies. Do you experience pain after an hour or two? I assume with glasses on. I'm just gonna like. Ah. Nope, no, I'm not. Okay. I'm just gonna. I'm. Uh, Can you believe that the DWP decided that I wasn't disabled enough for their PIP money? I got my appeal rejected last week. And Essentialist says, kind of, but that's just my cheap headset's fault. Which, yeah, fair. Also, Essentialist, do you have an answer to Mateo's what's a good Windows mixed reality headset to try? Because that's not something that I have any experience with. I've only ever used Valve's headsets, you know, the HTC Vive and Steam VR, or the Valve Index, or technically the Rift as well, but yeah. I actually only need mirrors because of other motorcyclists being mental and passing me at supersonic speeds on an oversized scooter. Fair. Fair. The HP Reverb G2, so is the Samsung Odyssey Plus. The rest, don't bother. Fair. Apparently being able to breathe disqualifies you from being disabled. No shit. They gave me the, as part of the appeal, they finally gave me their, like, marking criteria, basically, and, yeah, the marking criteria, it's very much, are you dead? If so, you qualify. Else, go away. But also, if you're dead, you don't qualify, so ha 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 ha. Yeah. Hello Lola. How you doing? How's things? I apologize for my slanted position. I'm in a lot of pain. Andy, do you have MS? No. Officially, I have palindromic rheumatism. Recently, I have learned of a condition called AMPS, Amplified Musculoskeletal Pain Syndrome, which much better fits my conditions. Also, I have lumbar lordosis. My spine is disfigured down at the bottom. So yeah, I get yeah. I know somebody locally that is fully able and gets full PIP because he lies. It's maddening. That's the annoying thing. When going through the process, like, much like almost all disabilities, I have good days and bad days. The bad days I cannot stand. I, like, barely get out of bed. I, like, fall down the stairs, and then I don't go back up the stairs until it's bedtime and I force myself to. I have a blow-up bed downstairs in case I'm in too much pain to climb my stairs. But on good days, I can be reasonably active. I can walk more than the 200 meters their maximum prescribed allowance is, and yet, when you go through the process, the choice, if I say, wow, good days and bad days, they go, okay, what are your good days like? And then they don't ask about the bad days, and they only put the good days part on the report, and then they say, oh no, sorry, you don't qualify, go away. So my choice is to either lie by omission and get a more accurate assessment, or do I be as truthful as I can, and then they take advantage of that lack of truthfulness, and or that they take advantage of the truthfulness to not give me even a single point in their scoring system. So yeah, the system that they have created really only serves to allow the the very people they say the system is designed to reject through, and the truly needy get rejected instead. Because it's not a system to assess people's condition. The doctor I was waiting 2 months to see just said there's nothing wrong with my elbow/arm because I'm not screaming in pain like other people. Yeah. 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 My son was denied his PIP when he turned 16. He has autism and struggles, but they twisted all of our words and said he doesn't need any help. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have autism too. Funnily enough, we're on the tech channel, of course I do. Yeah, I actually on the autism front, I found out there's a subset condition within ASD called alexithymia. That's it, where you have significant difficulty in understanding emotions internally. I don't know what I'm feeling. I basically never have. I only experience emotions as a physical symptom, like a twisting of my gut, or a glowing feeling if I'm particularly ecstatic. I don't experience or understand emotions up here. And so I think that has worked against me in these sorts of scenarios and talking with doctors, because I can't emote in the way they're expecting me to emote. So when I say that I am in excruciating pain every day, but I say it in what is clearly a cold manner, they go, oh, you must be lying. No. Yeah, personal independence payment. Basically, all of the disability allowances and things that we had in the UK have been scrapped, and we have moved purely to the personal independence payment, where we have a frankly horrifying and humiliating process for proving you're disabled enough. Not just that you have the conditions, you have to prove how those conditions affect your life, except in my appeal document, even though all of the process up until the final tribunal appeal says we consider what you say, how you report your state, because your doctors don't know how your conditions affect your day-to-day life, the tribunal said we don't care what you say, we only care about what your doctors say, which was really infuriating. Yeah. Um, yeah. And yes, it goes to liars here, instead of the, actually disabled. My dad had a heart attack and nearly died. He couldn't stop. He couldn't do anything for 6 months, and he was denied any help. He'd worked his entire life. Yep, that's austerity and conservatism. We could spend hours talking about how screwed up our system is. Weeks. I'd like to change it. I'd like to have a better system where we all actually help each other rather than helping the rich folks. Andy, there's forums online dedicated to fight the system and get what people need. I will have to have a look. The children yearn for the mines. Hi ho, hi ho. Actually, funnily enough, speaking of broken systems, so I bought an electronic drum kit for my birthday in January, and I've been learning. And I recorded myself playing the simplest of drum beats that I'd learned to share with friends and whatever. And so I stuck it up on just as an unlisted video on my personal YouTube channel. And during the upload process, I got copyright claimed playing the simplest of drum beats badly. Now, it's not monetized, it's an unlisted video. The video will only ever have 3 views, whatever. It's fine, don't care. I could have just let it go, but instead I submitted a full appeal saying that it was not copyrighted work because it's the simplest of drum beats. I'm playing badly. And I won that appeal purely because the person who uploaded a like 40-minute just collage of every drum beat ever to the Content ID system never replied, so I won by default. I have osteoarthritis. It's pretty much the same results. They expect you to work when you can't even move. Yep. I know a guy complaining about paying tax living in a government-paid-for house. Oh, Leopard's 8 Faces party. Oh dear, yeah. Yeah, there's quite a lot of people who say, oh, I never got any help. How many benefits were you on as a kid? Like, you know, as a younger person? Yeah, sure. Uh-huh. That state-provided house you got, yeah. Cool. Children love mining until 3 seconds in when they realize the world isn't made of blocks. Yeah. Well, anyway, I am going to go lie down and try and not be in as much pain as I am. Oh god, it hurts. Yeah, yeah. I will see you all tomorrow for a very important video. Please go like this video when it comes out tomorrow at 8 p.m. Please, thank you. And yeah, I hope you all have a good week. Stay safe, have fun. Yeah, catch you all next week.